Everybody, how are you today? Welcome to the channel. In today's project, I'm going to show you how to make a DIY shea butter lip balm. Okay, we're going to use only 5 ingredients, and you know what, the last ingredient that I'm going to talk about is optional. So if you have it at home, good, it's really helpful. But if you don't have it, you can use this 4 ingredients. So the first ingredient is beeswax. Okay, this is my choice. I'll call it a thickener and emulsifier. Okay, for lip balm we are going to use a beeswax. We are using shea butter, so stay tuned. I'll give you the recipe as I go along. We are going to use castor oil, excellent for lip balm, and we are going to use sunflower oil, and finally we are going to use vitamin E oil. Okay, it's an antioxidant. It's very good. It helps to further moisturize your lips. So sunflower oil is a very good oil, especially if you want moisture, so that's why I chose it. Castor oil, excellent thick oil for lip balm. Okay, then shea butter, superb ingredient when you want to make lip balm or any natural product for that matter. Then beeswax, I already told you why I chose it. Okay, a lot of people using different wax, but for these I'm going to use beeswax because it's readily available and it's also great for making DIY products. So if you're looking for the retail grade and the pro grade for this, you can click the join now to join my recipe club. You'll have access to the retail grade version of this lip balm. But this DIY is perfect for use at home. You can make it yourself, make it for your family, and you will enjoy it. So basically what I'm going to use hot plate to melt this, and you have to be careful because beeswax can really explode. Okay, so make sure you are checking it, and make sure you are checking your beeswax. Once your beeswax has melted, please take it off the hot plate. But if you're using stove to boil it, just make sure water doesn't get in this. Okay, so that's why. So we're going to melt it right now. The first thing I'm going to add right now, so note down the recipe. We are using 11 for the beeswax. We are using 8.5 gram of beeswax. 8.5 gram of beeswax. So note that down. So we're going to mix everything together before we transfer them to the eating corner. Okay, so mix everything, mix all your ingredients together, and it's time to mix. Please do not leave this unattended to. You want to make sure you are around throughout this, because remember the video I shared with you a few weeks ago, beeswax can explode. Okay, please do not leave this unattended to. Make sure you are there all through. Okay, so put your beeswax in the container. Make sure I'm using a glass because I'm going to melt it. Then I'm going to add my shea butter to it. Okay, we add our shea butter to it. Then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients to this. Then we're going to melt it. Okay, there's a way you melt your product that you can mess it up, and there's a way you melt it that it can really come out nicely. So please put that in mind when you are melting any ingredient for your lip balm. Okay, so just make sure you watch this video to the end to get the best from it. So I'm going to add my sunflower oil. I use shea butter. The shea butter I use 11 gram of shea butter. I use 8.5 gram of beeswax. Then I'm going to add my sunflower oil, 15 gram of sunflower oil. So we add that to it. Finally, I'm going to add my castor oil. Castor oil that I use 15 gram of castor oil. All the ingredients I use today are available at pureblendnatural.com, or you can find it at your local retailer. And even if you have at home, you can use what you have at home. Just make sure it hasn't expired. Okay, do not use expired ingredient to make any DIY product or even any cosmetic product for that matter. It's not good. So mix that together, then we are good to go. Next thing you want to do now, okay, is to cover it so that we can conserve some heat and speed up the eating process. So now I'm using hot plate. I'm using a borosilicate beaker, so that's why I'm putting it directly on my hot plate. So I'm going to wait for that to melt, and I'm going to stand right here, be watching it to make sure my beeswax doesn't, burn. It's dangerous when your beeswax burn. You have to keep watching it, and you have to maintain constant heat. I recommend you can do this at 70 degrees Celsius. That's perfect. If you have a thermostatic water bath, you can use that, okay, to melt it. If you do not have a water, if you want to use hot plate, make sure you are checking it, okay. Once your beeswax melts, it's time to remove it, okay. By the time the beeswax melts, then it's good to remove. At that time, you are good to go. So let's just watch. We're going to come back when it has melted so that we can conclude the project for our DIY Shea Butter lip balm. To prevent overeating, it's very good to open your lip balm up and make sure you check to make sure everything has melted. If it has not melted, you can be a part of it and continue mixing, okay. Mixing speed up the process of melting, okay, so that you don't want to leave your beeswax to burn ferociously, right? So just lower your heat and continue to mix. When you mix it, it aids the eating of your beeswax and shea butter and the rest of the oil. Okay, so mix it until everything is clear. Okay, make sure you try and avoid overheating. When you eat it too much, your lip balm may become grainy, okay. Make sure your burner or whatever you are using is on medium heat. It might take some time, but medium heat is always the best. Don't want your beeswax to burn ferociously, okay. It can explode, so please put this in I've turned on my hot plate stirrer now. All I have to do now is just continue mixing for the next 1 minute. Continuous mixing is very important if you want to have a smooth lip balm, okay. Mix continuously for the next 1 minute. So we're going to mix continuously, then we're going to take it off. Mix clockwise, then anti-clockwise. At this phase, we are good to go. All you have to do now is to just take it off heat. Be careful, your burner is still hot, so we're going to set that aside. Then we're going to concentrate on this. Then while you have it here, continue mixing. If there's any impurity, you will see it, then you may want to remove that at this point. Continue mixing, okay. You ask me, is this necessary? Yes, it's very necessary. I have the professional grade for this. The recipe for professional grade is already in the recipe column. So when you click join now, you'll have access to the professional grade of this. But this DIY, it's amazing also. It's very rich. So at this point, we want to add our vitamin E. The last ingredient to add now is vitamin E. Make sure you add it at 0.5 gram. Okay, measure 0.5 gram of vitamin E. Okay, and add it to it. If you want to make more of this, you can increase the size, okay, to your desired size. So now here is the catch. Before you package it, you want to make sure your lip balm has cooled down.